Hello everyone, and let's talk about Microsoft. Oh, Microsoft. Yeah, they build up so much goodwill and then they throw it all away, don't they? This is, of course, the news that Microsoft initially had doubled the price of Xbox Live Gold. It was going to cost you $120 for a year. We're in the middle of a pandemic. People are losing their jobs and you double the price of Xbox Live. How did they think this was going to go? I mean, since then they have walked it back. They have walked it back and said, "Oh, we're not going to double it anymore." Only after the backlash, the justified backlash, because that is crazy at the moment. Again, there's no sort of end in sight to this pandemic that's going on in the world at the moment. Are you allowed to say what the virus is, or do you still get demonetized by YouTube? So I don't know. I don't know. We've moved on to COVID-20 now. Why don't they just call the new variant COVID-20, the sequel to COVID-19? I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but we're gonna say it anyway. Why didn't they just call the new variant that's affecting the UK primarily COVID-20, the sequel? See, I would have said that. COVID-20, COVID-2, Electric Boogaloo. We're in our third lockdown here in the UK. At the moment, we went into lockdown in January. Things are probably going to reopen in March when the vaccine gets more rolled out. But anyway, we're not here to discuss the global pandemic that's going on at the moment. We are here to discuss Xbox because I don't really do political and topical stuff. I mostly discuss gaming. We're here to discuss Microsoft and their latest bonehead move of again thinking they can get away with that. Getting us to pay double. They basically 6 months of Xbox Live cost $60. They never revealed regional pricing, so I don't know what it was going to be in the UK. Normally it's about £40 a year. It was the last time I looked. It was £15 every 3 months. But they were trying to charge you, $60 for 6 months, which again equates to $120 a year. And that is double the price it was. It was only $60 a year in the US for Xbox Live. And again, this wasn't Game Pass. This was Xbox Live. So this is just the basic thing that you had to use to play online. And the other thing I never realized was downloaded a free to play game like Fort-nite or Warzone from the Xbox store, you couldn't play it without an Xbox Live Gold account, which to me is a bit weird. That not false advertising? I mean, you're advertising as a free to play game. It's just a free to download game then. It's not free to play if it requires a subscription to Xbox Live Gold. I know on the PlayStation, if you downloaded those games, you didn't need a PlayStation Plus subscription, and of course on the PC, you don't need a subscription to play online games. Well, some games do, mostly MMOs do. But generally, you don't need a subscription to play online with most PC games there. So, yeah, how can you advertise a game as free to play if it's not free to play? It's free to access, but you can't play it. I don't get that. And people say, "Oh, you get free games every month," and I always come back with the argument of these games are not free. They're not free every month. They are subsidized. Your subscription pays for those games. Okay, and you have got Game Pass. Now, Game Pass was a great thing when it launched. Microsoft, they started out the last generation, the Xbox One generation, which was the last generation now, that the next gen consoles are out now. They started off with such a poor launch. I mean, the reveal of the Xbox One was a disaster. The crap that they tried to pull with the launch of the Xbox One and its always online DRM. I guess they've not learned the lesson. They tried to screw with the consumer before and faced a massive backlash. But here they are in 2021, not learning their lesson again. We've just a new generation has just launched. You've got the Xbox Series consoles. We'll just call them the Series consoles. because there's two of them and the naming convention's too confusing for Microsoft consoles. You've got the Series consoles and the One consoles. Let's just call them that and be done with it because it's too confusing to go into every single Xbox model. Jesus Christ, Microsoft. At least Sony's are somewhat predictable. You know, they're incremental. You can tell the PS5 is probably better than the PS4. Although, how do you tell the difference between the Xbox One X and the Xbox Series X? How do you denote the difference? I don't get it. How do you denote the difference between an Xbox 360 and an Xbox One? Just at a glance. How are you meant to tell? And don't get me started on like the Series S and stuff like that. So Microsoft's naming convention is very confusing. But it seems like Microsoft, are they just wanting to lose this generation? I mean, yes, they've walked it back, but the fact that they tried to get away with it, it creates ill will, from the consumers at least, and it does create a backlash, and it hurts the Xbox brand, which is pretty much a dead horse at this point. I mean, you look at the Xbox. I mean, it's hard to judge sales of next gen consoles because whenever they come back in stock, they just go out of stock again, and it generally is just the scalpers that are buying them. So it is very difficult to judge sales. But if you look at the conversation everyone's having, what was it called again? I can't remember the crap influence. I guess is that the correct word? I can't remember the actual marketing BS buzzword because I've kind of forgotten about it. But if you look at that, all the media coverage seems to be going towards the PS5. And personally, I bought a PS5 because I didn't see the point in buying another Xbox console, as most of their all of their games are coming to PC. In fact, there's the Medium, which comes out tomorrow as of the recording of this video. The video will probably come out after the Medium launches. That's kind of an Xbox. It's a Microsoft exclusive game, which looks quite interesting actually with the dual reality thing. I quite like that. Looks kind of cool. Looks a bit like Silent Hill or the classic Resident Evil games. It kind of reminds me of them. So I'm a big fan of those games. So I'll definitely be checking that out. I have Game Pass on the PC. So again, it is exclusive to Xbox. I think it's Xbox One and the Series consoles, and it's also on PC. So I just finished preloading it because it comes out tomorrow, and it's on Game Pass. I'm definitely going to check that out. I'll maybe do a video on it because it was fun. It's fun doing the Resident Evil 8 video. I really liked that. I liked the Maiden demo that was on PS5. I quite liked that one. There. So again, back to the topic we were discussing about the Xbox exclusives. So there's no point in owning an Xbox Series console because you're going to get the best version on PC. And obviously, that's going to be hardware dependent. Looking at April now, before I'm going to get 3080. I'm still 600th in the queue for my Asus TUF Gaming 3080. Found out an interesting fact. They've only shipped 115 of them since September. That's overclockers, and they had over 1,500 in the queue for them. So it just shows you most people, yes, have just cancelled their pre-orders. But yeah, so we're looking at a few months before we get that. So it's 1,500 in the queue in October. And it is now January, and I am up to 600 odd in the queue. I think it's 615th or something like that for an RTX 3080. Paid for it in September, so gonna hopefully get one of them sometime soon. But yeah, the PC version generally will be better. The only downside to Game Pass on the PC is you have to use the Windows Store version of each game, so that kind of sucks. Hopefully they bring Game Pass to Steam, because they do launch a lot of their Xbox games on Steam, like Halo Infinite is coming to Steam, Gears 5 is on Steam, the Master Chief Collection, Sea of Thieves is on Steam as well. So it'd be nice to bring, even though they couldn't do the third party games on Steam, they can do their own Microsoft games. I mean, people say it probably won't come to Steam, but EA Play is on Steam at the moment. You can subscribe to EA Play and download the games through Steam for that. So, there is a precedent set there. So I would like to see Game Pass come to Steam. I think that would be pretty good just for managing the games and getting away from the Windows Store. Like, you could use the Windows Store to access the sort of third party games that go to Game Pass. Whereas if you wanted to use the Microsoft first party games like Gears 5 and Halo Infinite, etc., you could then go for the Steam version. It'd be nice to have the choice there without having to subscribe again, obviously. That would be pretty good. But yeah, Microsoft again, just trying to get away with that. I think it was really poor timing. Surely someone has their brain screwed on at Microsoft at the Xbox division and says, "Listen, people are struggling. People are struggling out there, not just people are dying, obviously, but then there's the financial impacts of the pandemic. Job losses are at an all-time high. Unemployment rate throughout most countries is at an all-time high again due to the pandemic. A lot of people can't work because, again, a lot of places are in lockdown at the moment. A lot of places are closed. A lot of people are furloughed. A lot of people, just want to play video games. It's a good, you're stuck in all the time. It's January. It's cold in this part of the world where I am. You've got long nights, and you just want to sit and relax and play some Call of Duty or something like that, an online shooter or Fort-nite or something like that. You want to sit and play some. I don't play Fort-nite, but people, a lot of people do play Fort-nite. I've never played it. I think I played the beta for Fort-nite, and it was just to save the world. So I do own it on the PS4, because I had to pay for it. That was back when they had. Did they still do the save the world mode? I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so people are stuck in, and I think this price hike was very poor timing. Really, they could have waited at least wait a year though, at least till we get out of the pandemic. But it's good that they walked it back. But I think the damage has been done now, and the ill will towards Microsoft. Again, I did a video on kind of this similar topic a few years ago about subscriptions and value. And basically a subscription is what you get. It is only worth what you get out of it, really. If again, Game Pass, if you're only getting 1 or 2 games a year, Game Pass is quite poor value, really. If you're only playing a couple of games, if you're playing 10 to 15 games a year on Game Pass, then it's excellent value, for example, because you're saving yourself a lot of money there. So again, it's just what you get out of it. Like same with Netflix. Again, if I probably watch Netflix every day, so it's great value for me. It's only it's what £10 a month now for Netflix in the UK, and to me that's fine. I'm okay paying that. I think it's still £7.99 because I never cancelled my subscription when it went up. I don't know exactly how much I pay. That's how little it is. But for me, it's quite an insignificant cost because, again, I'm watching it nearly every day or every other day. So I'm getting good value out of it there. And a lot of people commented on that video saying, yeah, but they charge you for internet and things like that. And it's like, well, yeah, internet is a utility. I mean, if you don't have internet, my argument back to that is if you don't have internet, you're never going to have Xbox Live Gold or Netflix. You're just never going to use it because they're internet services. So yeah, internet is a minimum requirement. The minimum requirements for Xbox Live Gold are you have an internet connection and you have an Xbox console. They're the two fundamental requirements for it. You can't get around them. So internet is a utility bill. You might as well say, but yeah, you have to pay for electricity as well. You might as well say that as well. Of course, internet is. You could argue, is it a basic human right these days? I mean, I don't know how you would live without it these days. It's kind of like water, electricity, gas, if you live in an area that has gas. So, you would argue it's kind of a utility that you need these days. I mean, you could probably live without internet. So whether it's a basic human right, who knows? Who knows? I would argue in 21st century Britain it is. I mean, I couldn't work if I didn't have internet, for example, because I'm working from home. So maybe you could argue that is if I didn't have internet, I don't know, would I just lose my job? Like, sorry, you need internet to do your job because you're working remotely. Yeah, it would be interesting to see if anyone doesn't have internet in this century. How are you watching this video? It's an interesting way to look at that. So if everyone watching this video has internet of some kind, unless they're sitting, at school Wi-Fi or whatever, although schools aren't in the UK at the moment. But anyway, I have ranted on for long enough. I've rambled on long enough. So that is all for this video. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.